Welcome to our cinematic journey through the legendary Star Wars episode 4, A New Hope. In this video, we'll explore the epic beginning of the Star Wars saga, a tale that introduced us to unforgettable characters, thrilling battles, and the eternal struggle between good and evil in a galaxy far, far away. From the rise of the Rebel Alliance against the tyrannical Galactic Empire to the iconic moment when Luke Skywalker embraces his destiny, we'll delve into the key moments and themes that have made this film a cornerstone of modern cinema. Whether you're a lifelong fan or new to the saga, join us as we rediscover the magic of A New Hope. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope is not just a film. It's a cultural phenomenon that marked the beginning of one of the most beloved sagas in cinematic history. Released in 1977, this epic space opera introduced audiences to a galaxy far, far away, filled with timeless characters, iconic battles, and a story that would become the foundation of modern mythos. 19 years have passed since the rise of the Galactic Empire, which now rules the galaxy with an iron fist. Under the command of the Emperor, the Empire has constructed a colossal space station, the Death Star, equipped with the devastating firepower to obliterate entire planets. However, a small but determined group of freedom fighters, known as the Rebel Alliance, stands against this tyrannical regime. The rebellion, fighting to restore peace and justice to the galaxy, has managed to steal the secret plans of the Death Star, which reveal a potential weakness in its seemingly invincible structure. The story begins with Princess Leia Organa, a leader in the Rebel Alliance and member of the royal family of Alderaan, attempting to deliver the stolen Death Star plans to the Rebel base. As her starship races through space, it is intercepted by an Imperial Star Destroyer under the command of the sinister Darth Vader, a Dark Lord of the Sith who serves the Emperor with ruthless efficiency. Realizing the dire situation, Leia quickly hides the plans within the astromech droid R2-D2, along with a desperate message for an old ally, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Before she is captured by Vader's forces, Leia sends R2-D2 and the protocol droid C-3PO to the surface of the desert planet Tatooine in an escape pod. After crash landing on Tatooine, R2-D2 and C-3PO are captured by Jawas, a band of scavenging traders. The droids are soon sold to Owen Lars, a moisture farmer, and his nephew Luke Skywalker. Luke, a young man with dreams of adventure beyond his simple life, discovers the hidden message in R2-D2, in which Leia pleads for Obi-Wan Kenobi's help in delivering the Death Star plans to Alderaan. R2-D2, driven by his mission, sets out to find Obi-Wan. Luke follows and is ambushed by Sand People, the native Tusken Raiders of Tatooine. Just when all seems lost, Luke is rescued by Obi-Wan Kenobi, a reclusive hermit whom Luke has known only as Ben. In Obi-Wan's dwelling, the old Jedi reveals Luke's heritage. He was the son of a great Jedi Knight, Anakin Skywalker. Obi-Wan presents Luke with his father's lightsaber, an elegant weapon for a more civilized age. R2-D2 plays Leia's full message, and Obi-Wan asks Luke to join him on a mission to Alderaan, where they must deliver the Death Star plans to her father, Bail Organa, a leader in the rebellion. Initially reluctant due to his duties on the farm, Luke's decision is made for him when he returns home to find that Imperial stormtroopers have killed his Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, leaving their farm in ruins. With nothing left to hold him on Tatooine, Luke decides to follow Obi-Wan and learn the ways of the Force, just as his father did. Obi-Wan and Luke head to the spaceport of Mos Eisley to find transport off-planet. In the bustling and dangerous cantina, they encounter Han Solo, a smuggler and pilot of the Millennium Falcon, along with his co-pilot Chewbacca, a towering Wookiee. Han, desperate for money to pay off his debt to the gangster Jabba the Hutt, agrees to take them to Alderaan for a hefty fee. As they prepare to leave, Imperial stormtroopers close in on them, having been alerted by a spy. A firefight breaks out, but Han's quick thinking and the speed of the Millennium Falcon allow them to escape into hyperspace, leaving Tatooine behind. Meanwhile, on the Death Star, Princess Leia is interrogated by Darth Vader and Grand Moff Tarkin, the station's ruthless commander. Tarkin demands that Leia reveal the location of the hidden rebel base, but she refuses. To demonstrate the Death Star's terrifying power, Tarkin orders the destruction of Alderaan, Leia's home planet, right before her eyes. The peaceful world is obliterated in an instant, leaving Leia devastated and the galaxy in fear of the Empire's might. As the Millennium Falcon emerges from hyperspace, the crew is shocked to find Alderaan reduced to a field of debris. Before they can react, the Falcon is caught in the Death Star's tractor beam and pulled aboard the massive space station. Realizing they are vastly outnumbered, the crew hides in the ship's smuggling compartments. Obi-Wan decides to disable the tractor beam to allow their escape, while R2-D2 discovers that Leia is imprisoned on the station. Luke convinces Han to help rescue her, appealing to his greed by promising a substantial reward. Disguised as stormtroopers with Chewbacca posing as a prisoner, Luke and Han infiltrate the detention block, freeing Leia from her cell. Their escape, however, is complicated when they are cut off by Imperial forces, leading them to take refuge in a trash compactor. The situation becomes dire as the walls of the compactor close in on them, but thanks to R2-D2's intervention, they are saved from being crushed. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan successfully disables the tractor beam, but encounters Darth Vader on his way back to the Millennium Falcon. The two engage in a lightsaber duel, rekindling their old rivalry. As their battle reaches its climax, Obi-Wan sees Luke and the others boarding the Falcon. In a final act of sacrifice, Obi-Wan allows himself to be struck down by Vader, becoming one with the Force. Luke, devastated by the loss of his mentor, hears Obi-Wan's voice urging him to flee. The group escapes aboard the Millennium Falcon, narrowly evading Imperial forces. Unbeknownst to them, their escape is part of a larger plan. Darth Vader has placed a tracking device on the Falcon, allowing the Empire to follow them to the Rebel base. The Millennium Falcon arrives at the Rebel base on the jungle moon of Yavin 4. The stolen Death Star plans are analyzed, revealing a critical vulnerability, a thermal exhaust port that leads directly to the station's reactor core. A successful hit on this port could trigger a chain reaction, destroying the Death Star. The rebels, aware that the Empire is on their trail, prepare for a desperate attack against overwhelming odds. Luke joins the rebel pilots, taking the controls of an X-Wing starfighter. As the Death Star approaches Yavin 4, preparing to annihilate the rebel base, the battle begins. Rebel fighters, outnumbered and outgunned, launch their assault on the Death Star. Grand Moff Tarkin, confident in the station's power, dismisses concerns about the attack. As the battle intensifies, rebel pilots make several attempts to target the exhaust port, but the narrow trench and heavy defensive fire make the approach nearly impossible. Darth Vader joins the battle in his advanced TIE fighter, personally leading the effort to destroy the rebel ships. Luke, using the Force as his guide, makes his final run down the trench. With Vader closing in and nearly about to shoot him down, Han Solo arrives in the Millennium Falcon, blasting Vader's wingmen and sending Vader's ship spiraling out of control. The massive station erupts in flames, its destruction sending shockwaves across the galaxy. Darth Vader, having survived the battle, drifts off into space, his plans thwarted for the time being. With the Death Star destroyed, the surviving rebel pilots return to Yavin 4, where they are greeted as heroes. In a grand ceremony, Princess Leia awards Luke and Han with medals for their bravery, while Chewbacca receives a roar of approval from the crowd. The Rebel Alliance has won a significant victory, but the struggle against the Empire is far from over. Star Wars Episode 4. A New Hope is more than just the beginning of a saga. It's a tale of hope, courage, and the fight for freedom against overwhelming odds. The film's blend of adventure, drama, and mythic storytelling set a new standard in cinema, influencing countless films and spawning a universe of stories that continue to inspire and entertain audiences around the world. As we follow the journey of Luke Skywalker, from a farm boy to a hero of the rebellion, we are reminded that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. A new hope that can light the way forward. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more Star Wars content, let us know in the comments, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until then, see you at the next episode.